you are at the Bible conference until 1984.
Right.
1984. September 1984. That year is a tumultuous year for the Bible Presbyterian Church. And out of that year, this church is founded, a mission agency is founded, a seminary is founded. It's a very difficult split, and I think there'd be some real value in hearing your thoughts on 1984. What happened?
Well, I think that this didn't just happen.
Right.
That there were certain foundational problems or needs and all. And I remember I worked with Dr. McIntyre, and when I was even in Knoxville, I had him come down and have a rally, and I've had him, dedicate our church building there and so forth. And I worked well with him as individually. And here at the Bible conference, his hands were off. I'd do whatever I needed to do, whatever it took to do. And so I enjoyed that freedom and liberty because I sort of demanded it.
Right.
That I had to, be able to do what I had to do. And I even told him, I said, the day I can't pay my people their salaries, I'm out of here. And I never had to do that. But anyway, as a result of certain under things that people, not everybody would see, but Dr. McIntyre had gotten into some, he loved the Lord and he wanted to preach the gospel. He wanted to call the church back to Christ and all, and some things in the monetary aspects. He would try to do too much, I think, and therefore he would work to pull from here and go and protect there, and a lot of people really got upset about his machinations.
Right. So to be clear there, when you talk about pull from here and go to there, that's across agency lines.
Right.
That's this Bible conference and this newspaper and this radio show and this, right. That he had this vision that he wanted to fulfill and didn't really respect what should have been some boundaries.
Right.
And I think I hear and we can say that Dr. McIntyre was a man that was used by God. Right. And a terrific man who maybe didn't have enough people telling him no in his life. Right. and so keep going, sorry.
No problem. No, and but anyway, yeah, as a result of that, when we some separated from that, starting the new agencies and seminary, it was to be able to draw those lines hard and fast, and we did. And so, when I left there, Dr. Agner said, well, now don't you start a Bible Presbyterian Church down there, because he knew that it would not be in his orb, And so, faithful to the Lord, I said, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what we did do. And I didn't do it in a sort of a mean way or in an antagonistic way. This is what is going to be.
Right.
And he was, not in favor. One thing along with that, when the Bible conference was closing over there, we were here operating. But his grandson was operating then the place, and he asked one day, the girl that worked behind the desk was actually my right-hand girl. She had a problem. He had a problem with money. And he said, how did Dr. Blizzard pay all his bills? He said, he paid his bills. So, but anyway, so where were we with that one?
We were talking about 1984.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, anyway, we were meeting here for a year or two, and then they were shutting the Bible conference down, and they had come down, and I told you about the Temple of Jerusalem. Well, he sent a couple guys down with some kind of a U-Haul to take it out. What they did is that it was on four by 8 sheets of plywood. And what they did, instead of taking off the pieces, they ripped up and they ripped up. They tore that thing all to pieces getting it out of there. And so he took it back up. Well, I went over, one of the guys that worked over there called me one day and said, listen, they're here and they're going to throw the temple of Jerusalem, the inner court, the 3 parts where you have the holy place, the Holy of Holies and all. And it was about 6 feet by so high and about 3 feet wide. Beautiful. I mean, it was golden. It was perfect. It looked like it was a brand new thing, and it was encased in a glass. And so when they said they're throwing it out, they're pitching it momentarily. I said, don't let them throw it in there. I'll come and get it. Well, I went and got it and brought it over here and had it in the back room of that other building, our other building, and I had it there for several months. And then all of a sudden somebody told Dr. McIntyre that we had that down here. Well, he came down and he said, I want my thing. I said, Doctor, they were going to throw it out, and that's the only reason I've got it. I was saving it. I said, if you want it, it's yours. I have no problem with that. See? But I never heard ever what happened. He took it away. I never heard whatever happened to it. That was the gem. The gem of everything they had made. That was Jachin and Boaz, the 2 columns going into the holy place, and all the different artifacts, things in there, and the curtain and all. And so that was a thing that had happened, and I had no animosity. I just knew I had to do what I had to do and leave the rest to God. And so we came down.
How about, what's your recollections of the founding of Presbyterian Missionary Union?
PMU. Yeah, there was about 20 of us. And as we gathered together and we said, now, we're not going to have access to the independent board, for one thing. But that we wanted to start something that was, and so we got together, and John Battle and all these men. And then, of course, John had started the seminary out there in the West Coast. And, but again, I think we had nothing. We didn't know how we were going to survive in a sense, but we were going to do it. And we did. We sat down and we made declarations of what we wanted to do to get the gospel out, keep the gospel going, that this was and we were working on just a shoestring as far as finances are concerned. But I remember we were out in Kalispell, Montana, and we were there, and we were on the floor was about the independent. Our board, PMU. And as we were there, we were really at the point of demise. And I said, I stood up and I said, we have got to make this go. He said, we've got to pledge ourselves. I've got to pledge our church, everything to it. We took another vote. I said, we'll do it. And we went, and from then on, again, we always had needs because we were always trying to expand the work to the gospel and all. But again, God provided, and we just, had to do what we had to do.
Now, that time in Kalispell, am I understanding correctly, you took an offering for PMU.
Right.
You needed a certain amount. You counted it, and you didn't get it. And that's when you said what you said.
That's right.
And you took another offering, and you got it. And this has been verified by other people that without that boldness from Dr. Blizzard, we probably don't have PMU, humanly speaking, today.
Yeah, well.
That's what other people have told me.
Yeah, all right. That's,
And of course, that is the glory of God, shoestring budget. Who was the first missionary? Do you remember with PMU?
oh, my.
Put you on the spot. Somebody's going to fact check this one.
Yeah. I have to think.
All right. Well,
That was a long time ago.
it was 30, 40, 35, 36 years ago. But
It's hard to believe.
and PMU still going today.
Yeah,
And the synod split in 1984
right.
in Tacoma. You were there.
Right.
Um,
I remember, there was 12 people got up and walked out with Dr. McIntyre when he said, as saints of old, he's marching out. And old Bill Green was a friend of mine, and he worked with us at the camp, So he's sitting next to me, and we're back towards the back row. And so Dr. McIntyre's going by, and 2 or 3 people right there close to him, and I think a dozen went all together. Bill's trying to get up and get out. I won't let him. I'm sitting there, and I got my leg over there, and he's trying to get out. I said, Bill, no. And, I got to go. And I know Bill. But I kept him out for a while. I had him sweating. But anyway, and I love Bill, and I love all those guys, and I had no animosity. They had a way they were going to go, and I knew where I was going to go,
And a lot of people don't know that, so that's 1984. Sometime in the late 90s, there's a letter from McIntyre to our Synod, from Dr. McIntyre, apologizing for that 1984 split.
Right.
And, I came across it in the Synod Minutes. It's a glorious thing. I was telling my Presbyterian Church history teacher, Dr. Wilborn, up in Greenville, hey, did you know this happened? He didn't know.
Right.
And he was excited to hear that there was a softening. And Dr. McIntyre doesn't rejoin us.
No.
Because he would go to glory before that opportunity.
Right.
But he is on our memorial roll. He is, had that reconciliation. And the independent board has come back. They're an approved agency today.
Right.
And so that's sort of a good endnote. 1984, very difficult year. Agency started. I'm a graduate of Western Reformed Seminary. I'm now somehow president of the board of the seminary. I don't know why, but and it continues for hopefully generations to come till the Lord returns, and all of that. I know you spent a short time on the WRS board, but it's hard from Florida without video conferencing to really participate the way we can today in 2020 back there. And I may have been the one actually to nominate you to the board. I don't know if you know that. That was my fault.
It's all right. You're going to pay for it.
But the Lord is good. And I know one of the things that I really appreciate about hearing these stories is you just see the hand of God, the grace of God, the sustaining power of God in all these ministries. And though the Gateway to the Stars Bible conference is closed, yet that testimony lives on even in our church here. People who only know that building as the Radisson are still, being blessed by what is the spiritual successor of your ministry there. Right. So praise the Lord. Anything else on 1984 that you want to bring up?
Well, no, it's except that, there were people that just were faithful and, and not highfalutin in that sense of the word. Just do what the Lord would have you do and suffer whatever consequences, and never considered it suffering or difficult.
Amen.
I just, because he goes on, he is who he is and we are his, so. Put a stamp of approval on your statement.
That's right. Well, I'm going to say thanks for watching, and you're going to ask people to subscribe to the channel.
Oh, subscribe to the channel.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, thanks for watching.
And you better, because it's interesting.
Amen. And please subscribe.
You have to subscribe. You have to pay for it.
No, it's free. It's a free subscription. But that's good enough. That's perfect.
Okay. Cut it out.